Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. A lot of interesting and mysterious things to talk about today. We've got some stories that at this point are just baffling, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But first, I want to show you these crazy new images that have been hitting the web of what looks like a giant mushroom cloud, which has literally frightened the residents over Russia, over Siberia to be more specific, to the point where all of their emergency services have been flooded with panicking people who honestly thought that a nuclear bomb had gone off and were terrified that World War III had started. So there's a lot of images of this cloud, and I mean, this thing does look like a mushroom cloud. And you know what, honestly, I'd probably be scared to death if I saw this thing too over my neighborhood. Now here's an image of the real thing here. This is from something like an atomic bomb, hydrogen bomb, and you can see the eerie similarity between the two that has had everybody fearing doomsday had finally come. However, local news agencies have been trying to quell the hysteria and inform them that this was nothing more than a massive anvil cumulonimbus thunderstorm cloud, which is perfectly normal. Most of the time, you don't get one that looks so close to a mushroom cloud like this one, but meteorological officials are insisting that it's a natural phenomenon because people were concerned that a nuclear blast or explosion had happened at one of the local coal mines in the region. So pretty cool nonetheless. And hopefully this is natural and wasn't some sort of secret test, kind of like we did back in the 50s. Now, on to a breaking story that has really got me scratching my head, and I don't know, something is not adding up for me. So a recent story has just hit the web about this mass reindeer die-off that happened over Norway, in which 318 reindeer were found dead. You're seeing the image from that here, all together after a storm, and they're saying that these were all killed by a lightning strike. All 318 were all struck by lightning, according to an official from the Norwegian Environment Agency, who said that there were strong storms in the area that day, and that it would seem that lightning had, quote, appeared to have struck them all at once. And I'm telling you, it's not adding up for me. Never before have we seen such a mass death of animals like this. And you're telling me that a lightning strike killed over 300 reindeer all at once? I don't see any burn marks on them. I don't see anything that would even suggest that they were struck by lightning. I mean, does that honestly, guys, does that seem plausible? As you look at this photograph, that all of these reindeer were killed by a lightning strike. I mean, this is not how lightning strike deaths occur. Never before have we seen this. Here is a map of lightning-related deaths of humans over the last 10 years here in America. And you can see from the year 2005 to 2014, the most deaths that we can see are up in around the 17 to the 20 region. And that's over a 9-year period. And as a matter of fact, fatalities due to lightning strikes are going down. There are very few deaths, both human and animal. And if there are, it's usually one, and if you're lucky, maybe 2 or 3, but never hundreds. And in this case, damn near 320. So I'm not buying that this was a lightning strike. I just don't think it's possible. I've seen no data that would suggest that a mass animal die-off like this has ever occurred due to a lightning strike. And honestly, I think there's something more to it. And Norway has been home to some very mysterious things over the past years. If you remember, back in 2009, the Norwegian spiral, or they call it the Norway spiral anomaly, occurred. And if you don't know, this happened, and you're seeing an image of it here. Back in 2009, this strange spiral-shaped, what looked like a portal, appeared in the skies over Norway. The spiral consisted of a blue beam of light with a grayish spiral emanating from one end of it, with a similar event taking place just a month before, also in Norway, and nobody knew what it was from. Now later on, there had been one explanation that had been put forth by the Russians, in fact, the Russian Ministry of Defense, who suggested that it may have been a failed Bulava missile test. However, for the people who were there that night and who witnessed this thing, all of which who will tell you this looked nothing like a missile test and what the mainstream media was trying to push. They'll show you two images for comparison. They'll show you this image here of the actual Norway spiral anomaly, and will try to convince you with this second image that this is actually what you're seeing here, which is an image of an actual failed Bulava missile test. So you look at both of these images and you tell me if this looks anything like what you're seeing here. Almost 7 years later is still one of the most anomalous things to happen over the European skies, and we still don't have an explanation. So again, very, very strange. Again, form your own opinion, but in my opinion, 314 dead reindeer being struck at the same time by lightning is just a little far-fetched to me. This may be a cover story, I don't know, but that's all the info we have at this point. Now, on to some UFO sightings, the first of which comes from a new Mars rover image. Now, this was tweeted over to me by a Mr. Ian Winfield, who was going through these Mars rover images and noticed a very odd thing in this image you're seeing here. I'll put the link to it down in the video description, of what looks like a couple objects being launched off of the surface. So let's go ahead and zoom in here, and you'll notice in this image, there's two green objects in the distance with what looks like a trail behind them leading back down to the surface. And it looks very reminiscent of a launch. Either that, or possibly a radio tower, or maybe a weather balloon attached to a string or a wire or a rope. I don't know, but check this out. You're seeing the first one here at about the middle of the image. And as we move over more to the right of the screen, you'll notice a second, but yet identical green object. This one is actually higher in the sky than the first one. Again, with this long, straight trail behind it leading down to the surface. Now, these are not artifacts due to them stitching the images together. You can actually see where they have stitched the images together, and both of these objects are well within the stitching lines. So they're nowhere near the edge of each individual image. So whatever these things are, they're in the background. They look like objects launching off of the surface. There are objects over Mars, moving over top Mars, flying over the Martian surface. That we know. And this has been confirmed by numerous rover images showing these things in the sky, moving through the sky, all the way back to images from the Russian Phobos probes that snapped pictures of these massive cigar-shaped craft sitting in space on the outside of Mars, casting these elongated shadows down on the surface. We know that there's objects there. So let me know what you guys think. Download the image yourself. Big thanks to Ian for sending these over. Mind-blowing captures here. Now on to another very enigmatic image and UFO sighting that was just emailed over to me today. This photograph was captured by a Mr. Dan McKeegan over Donegal, Ireland. And he's been trying to get this photograph out. It's been submitted to MUFON. It has an official case number with MUFON. He tweeted it as well as emailed it over to us at Secure Team. And he captured it, and he stayed at his family holiday home in the remote county of Donegal, Ireland. He said that he awoke unusually early at 6:30 a.m. and was instantly alert. He said he decided to take a photograph of the sunrise, which was also strange because he said it's something that he's never done. So he said he took several images both before and after this object appeared, and at the time he said that he didn't see the object. So he thought that maybe his phone was broken or something like that, and he's looked at all the photographs, and this object only appeared in one frame. He said that he looked at the frame before this photograph and the frame after, and he said that those frames did not contain a huge black triangle. So here you're seeing a zoomed in shot of this object, and it does have sort of a triangular or cube shape to it. It definitely has some blurring, which would indicate that it was moving quickly, and it's very clear, and the source of the capture is completely shocked. He said he was shocked for the rest of the day after he noticed the object in the photograph. And so again, I want to put out a message to anyone over Ireland: keep your eyes to the skies and look out for this thing, and hopefully we can get some more photographs and video of it. So big thanks to Dan out of Ireland. Now, here's a really strange piece of UFO footage that was captured earlier this year by a Mr. Jason Bales. It was posted to his Facebook, and well, go ahead and check this out. Alright, so as I said, posted on the Jason Bales Facebook page. Now, I spoke with Jason, and he has got, we'll just say, a lot of very strange UFO captures on his Facebook page, which I will link to, again, down in the video description. A lot of strange objects he's caught in the sky. Some of them look natural, others still unexplainable and really odd, such as this video here. And this isn't the first time that we've captured these strange, sort of bioluminescent, almost see-through type entities. Some have said they're biological. And of course, there have been a lot of theories throughout the past, as well as testimony from people who have allegedly worked on craft that have been recovered and are not of this world, that a lot of these craft will in fact have a biological component to them, where they can sort of sync up biologically with the pilot of said craft. So, again, this is very strange. It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. Let me know what you guys think. Again, this was captured over Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So let me know what you guys think and if you've seen something similar. Now, we're going to end today's video with actually one more piece of footage and some new Jupiter images that have just come out. But first, this saucer-shaped craft that is found on Google Earth, and you can actually find this by putting in the coordinates into Google, and you don't necessarily have to download the Google Earth software. But this is in Romania, where this object was found, right on the border, well, near the border of Serbia and Hungary. And we'll kind of give you some multiple shots here. What's really cool about Google Maps is that they've instituted this three-dimensional software, which allows you to have this awesome 3D look at these 2D satellite images. So we're just going to kind of spin around this thing, move around it, kind of show you all angles of it. And it's definitely a large saucer-shaped object. Now, is it a house? Is it some hobby? Just a large flying saucer, kind of nestled in the trees here. And this was emailed over by a viewer of ours. We've seen these things before, and it's just strange how it's just nestled in the middle of nowhere, out in the country in Romania, of all places. So check out the coordinates down in the video description and check it out yourself. So, you will find some very interesting things using Google Maps and Google Earth, as we've demonstrated in the past. Now, lastly, I want to show you our newest image of Jupiter, and it's the closest photograph of Jupiter that anyone has seen in nearly a decade. And this was sent back by NASA's Juno spacecraft, which has already flown by Jupiter 36 times, high-speed flybys, moving at about 130,000 miles per hour, which, by the way, has now made it the fastest human-made object ever. And during one of its flybys, it took this amazing photograph of Jupiter. You're kind of getting a top-down view, where you're seeing the North Pole of Jupiter kind of looking down. You see the giant red spot that's still there on the planet, that's bigger than Earth, that is raging on the planet. It's been there ever since we first discovered Jupiter. And yeah, this is the newest photograph that we have in almost a decade. 2007 was the last time we got a photograph that was taken by the New Horizons probe. And prior to the New Horizons photographs, the Cassini probe took some absolutely dazzling photographs of the planet, which were some of the closest that we've ever gotten. You're seeing one of these images here, taken by Cassini from 2001. And you can see one of Jupiter's moons here, and it just gives you an idea of how massive Jupiter is and why it is called the king of the solar system. Now, once the mission ends, however, instead of just sending Juno out into space like we've done with other probes that will just continue on as a relic of our past explorations, instead, this billion-dollar probe will be flown to its doom into the poisonous clouds of Jupiter's surface. So they are going to fly this thing straight into Jupiter when they're done with it. So hopefully we'll get some good photographs from that, and that's just a hell of a way to go out. So let me know what you guys think about all this stuff today. These reindeer hit by lightning, the strange objects lifting off of Mars, more objects being captured in the skies than ever before. Of course, you know to stick around because we've got a whole lot more coming, and we definitely do. So look out for our next video. Thanks for stopping by, and stay safe.